It's been 2 days since my last clan war. And, well, it's pretty much a sin to miss one a day. But map number 1 has just loaded up. Nimbus, as I already mentioned, is going to be the map on which we will be playing. And to introduce our players, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we find the red Protoss player from Team Alternate. It is Showtime. And Showtime really is here. It's time for these players to put on that show. And Narcotic is the blue Terran player from mYi that has spawned in the top right-hand corner of the map. So let's see what kind of strategies these players are going to go for. And who is going to get their opponents to their knees first. Now Narcotic is going to go for a wall off at the front. This is definitely a map on which command centers first are relatively popular. Also because Reaper plays are usually not that effective. Because you only have this little edge where you can actually jump up and down with your Reaper. Other than that you don't really get anything. But look at this. Narcotic is going to be pretty aggressive in the early game. He is getting that refinery before a barracks is coming down, which means that we are going to see an extremely fast factory. And with this very narrow choke, Narcotic is going to deny scouting quite a bit. And Showtime is going to be in the dark for quite some time, most likely. But if he sends out a probe, he might see something about the timing of the barracks. But that is some very next level meta stuff going on right there. So what is happening inside the base of Showtime? He's opened up with only one gas geyser. He's getting his gateway, of course. Second pylon is on the way. So a very standard setup so far. And it is a little bit of a wall off against any form of Reaper play. And a very small choke where a probe can easily block off any pathing of that Reaper. But he is just setting up, playing it relatively safe. And after that cybernetic score is coming down, he is going to send out that probe just as the SCV of Narcotic does get sent out. Now the factory of course is already on the way. With that gas first you're supposed to start it around the 3-minute mark. And well, I would not be surprised to see some Widowmine play from Narcotic right now. With that Widowmine buff, those puppies do a lot of damage very quickly against any Protoss player, especially those mineral lines. Showtime checking that bottom right hand corner. I don't really think that this probe is going to get anything done, because everything is going to look extremely normal and there is already one marine out, so there is no possibility of that probe even seeing if there's an add-on going down on that barrack so far. But are we going to see the starport immediately after that factory to go for those drops? It is a Widowmine and it is a starport, so we are going to see Widowmine drops. The probe, however, does return back home. Nice reflexes from Showtime. And the SCV of Narcotic does get a pretty decent scout off, I believe. Yeah, he does confirm the location. Does not see how many gases have been taken. Did not get anywhere close. But also that SCV is going to survive for now. And he's going to go home to mine another day. But of course, Narcotic needs to do damage with this build. The second base for Showtime is just so much faster. And if there is no damage whatsoever done by Narcotic, that economic lead is going to carry Showtime to the mid game and the late game of this session. So let's see how that is going to go down. Second command center, of course, not even being started by Narcotic at this point. He is just investing in that tech as quickly as possible. Now where in fact did that Widowmine go? He has one of them only on the map. After that he went into Hellions. He's producing them one at a time. So it might even be a Hellion Widowmine drop. But there are also a bunch of Marines already here. Six of them. And one Widowmine and 6 Marines are going to lift up into that medevac. And they are going to zoom across the map to see where they can find a hole to do some damage. Now, do we already see some tech from Showtime? Yes, it is a Stargate that was on the production tab earlier. And we are going to see an Oracle. Now, an Oracle is going to be able to provide some detection. But if that Oracle is out of position, you're still going to have a pretty bad time. And that is going to cost a lot of lost mining time for Showtime. So let's see where that Oracle is going. And of course, where this medevac is going. Because I believe at this point, still nothing has been scouted. Now the Stalkers are moving forward. They do see that there is a medevac here. The Widowmine does get dropped right there, and the Stalkers are focusing on that medevac. Hellions even running in right now, and those Hellions, they are a big damage dealer against probes as well. The Stargate immediately getting focus fire down Where did that Oracle go? Is it across the map? It is still... Well, it must be... It's still here, just with the army. Stargate does get focus fire down. He does have some time to kill before that photon overcharge does wear out. He cannot go into that mineral line whatsoever, so it is safe for now. The Stargate is going to go down, which means that this Oracle is Showtime's only means of detection at this point. He uses the pulsar beam. Wants to get some Marines here, and he actually got a pretty nice attack going there, but no economic damage has been dealt by Narcotic. Pretty stellar defense from Showtime. He did lose his starport, which is going to set him back into tech a little bit, but he's starting his robotics facility, a Twilight Council, and a Forge on his side of the map, and the natural base for Narcotics only now being turned into an orbital command. Looking at the worker count, 29 against 45. That's a pretty good position for Showtime to be in, and even his Oracle did remain alive, and he can now fly across the map and exactly see how far ahead he is with how many SCVs are here. He might even get a cancel on the building of that missile turret, and that is going to make his natural base quite useless for quite some time. Wow, that's a fresh mule that just got picked off. A Viking is here for the extra defense, and the Oracle will make it out alive for now, so he is going to be able to get back in there, at least get some revelations going, and tag that army of Narcotics, so he knows. So Showtime knows exactly where that is. 2 siege tanks have been made in case there is a counter push coming. Even a 3rd tank is now finishing up, but other than that, there is not a decision made about the strategy of Narcotic just yet. No extra barracks have come down, so this might be a mech play from him. Let's see. There's going to be another medevac zooming across the map towards that natural base. The Oracle trying to fly in once again. I don't believe it got any kills right there. Only 3 workers have been killed off by Showtime, but that was at the natural base on the high ground. And even here, Showtime has those stalkers in position. That Widow Mine is not going to burrow anytime soon. Narcotic, however, is moving out with his entire army. That's a pretty risky move to do, because there is still this Oracle very annoyingly flying around, and it's a very quick unit. Can pick off reinforcements, and even this observer of Showtime spotting exactly what is coming Showtime's way. Now that Widowmine does manage to burrow. Now this is a little bit annoying because nothing can go up and down that ramp, which means that he has to sacrifice probably one of the probes to at least get the shot going. And he needs units at the front. He has 1 Immortal, he has a few sentries, and those zealots. Of course, sentries are going to buy him a lot of time, because even for an army like this, it's going to take some time before you can finally kill off those debris. And he's not even going to need to sacrifice any units. But there we go, Narcotic is moving up that ramp. 1 Hellion getting picked off pretty quickly right there with the help of that Immortal. But those sentries do have plenty of energy, so that is going to be a lot of force fields. Narcotic needs to break down those rocks. Oh, another beautiful force field trapping in 2 of those tanks. And at this point, that is looking pretty bad at this point. Production of Narcotic still not up to par. 2 extra factories are now just finishing up. He's not even gotten his natural base fully up and mining. And Showtime is thinking to himself, why would I attack? Siege tanks are so incredibly powerful defensively, so that's not going to happen. Instead, he just goes in with that Oracle and sees what kind of damage he can get done. Well, he can get some extra work kills maybe here. Does take a little bit of fire from that missile turret. Wouldn't even be... Well, he does lose it right there. That's a little bit bad, but that Oracle already did so much for Showtime. And also, that's going to remove any threats that Narcotic could have in his base. Also here, the debris, of course, do get cleaned up. Colossi are getting added, but against the mech play, you don't really want to get those Colossi. Immortals are way more interesting for a Protoss player in that setup. They just deal so much damage against those tanks. So, second Colossus is going to be with this army. That's going to deal with the Marines pretty quickly. But for siege tanks sieged up like this is looking pretty painful to move into that, but but Immortals usually do make it happen pretty nicely. 1 Viking is out, is not going to be enough to deal with those two Colossi. Even though the spread on those siege tanks is pretty decent, it's not going to stop those Immortals and Colossi for sure. But once the tank count gets higher and the higher, it gets harder for Showtime to move into this location quite quickly. A few Hellions are going to try to escape, at least poke forward to see what is coming his way. Oh, they get shredded so incredibly quickly. 2 live on to tell the tale. But proxy pilots are now going to go down. The third base of Showtime is up and running. Even one Zealot does get sent forward, and Narcotic is going to be contained on his 2 bases for quite some time. And there's no way that Narcotic can move out of that position anytime soon. The third base is still so far away from him. But he can turtle up pretty heavily with that mech plate that he has. 6 siege tanks at the front line is a very scary thing to run into. Another medevac with 4 Hellions is going to get sent out. This might actually get spotted by this probe. Yes, this probe does spot it. Also, the Zealot, well, is going to chase it very slowly. But Showtime will have plenty of time to get units in position to do something about that. There is a photon cannon here already that's going to tank a lot of firepower. Hellions do get dropped with that blue flame upgrade, of course. Showtime is a little bit out of position, so he managed to do some economic damage. So far, only 2 of them have been killed off. And the Blink Stalkers are blinking forward to kill off the rest. Now Hellions are going to move forward once again. Blue flame really stretched through those Stalkers pretty quickly, but Showtime pretty much has his entire tech tree already completed. He has Storm, he has High Templars, he has Colossi. He just did not rebuild that Stargate. But there's going to be a warping of Zealots, most likely inside that natural base. And the mech army is not that mobile, so Narcotic is just going to move forward. There's not a whole lot here. Oh, those storms are just beautiful. Time Warp and Stormers is such an incredibly powerful combination. Monster Core falls, but it has depleted all of its energy, so it's not the biggest of deals right now. Another, oh, that's a pretty risky blink forward right there into those siege tanks. And we do see the army of Showtime slowly melting away, but the rest of the army, the economy of Narcotic is just being cleaned up. There are 5 Immortals here, there's High Templars here, there's still a few Zealots here, and that is going to deal with this army pretty quickly. Even a lot of SCVs have been pulled, but another beautiful storm landing down. Colossus even helping out against all of those SCVs, repairing against this Terran army, and he does clean it up. Narcotic has been stopped in his tracks, and Showtime